Hey everyone, it's Chance TV, and we're in what doctor's office?
That's Dr. Halaas to you and I.
She's the best there is. Now, you were talking about people who had tons of plastic surgery but don't admit it, and what's your opinion on that?
Well, okay, so I think that you should, it's your face, it's your body, and you have the right to do whatever the hell you want to it. I just think that especially if you're in a public, you're doing a disservice if you claim that it was yoga and water, and it clearly was a little bit more than that, because it's kind of like to me, it's like, you have a secret and you're just going to keep it to yourself, and all the rest of you don't get to know how wonderful I look. So it makes me feel a little left out, because I would really like to know how to look like 29 on yoga and water. It hasn't worked for me yet.
Meanwhile, these people look like Stepford wives.
Well, look, some people have taken it too far. Some people have taken it to just the right place. And it's the ones that have taken it to the right place that I'm envious, and I'm like, how did you do that?
Finding that balance.
Yeah, could you please tell me how you did that? Because I don't love aging. I mean, I like aging as far as I'm glad I'm alive. I'm glad that I'm not dead.
I'm continuing to age. Yeah.
Yes, and I hope to continue to age. As far as looking like you age, well, I don't want to look that weird Twilight 39, because that's a dead giveaway that you've had a lot of work done. I just like to look like a really good version of whatever age that I happen to be at, and then it's gonna get older.
Sure.
Yeah.
Now, we popped up some magazines and some other stuff you're posting, which was beautiful.
And this one, look how big this one is.
Look, you got a full page.
Yeah.
You made it, sister.
Yeah, that's right.
Okay. Or 19,000th cover over here. Now, with these things, you talked about being invisible, but yet with your Instagram, you control what's put out there now, when before you didn't really have control.
That is very true, actually. Social media, it's double-edged sword. On one hand, it's this fantastic way of getting your voice across. This is what I think. This is how I feel. This is what I want you to see. And of course, the flip side of that is now sometimes you find yourself living for Instagram. Like, I will wake up in the morning and go, damn, what do I have to do for Instagram today? Like, what fabulous element of my life am I going to showcase? Me knitting? Me sitting and watching Beverly Hills Housewives? I mean, it's like, that's not really Instagrammable, you know? So it kind of puts a weird pressure on you to live every day as though you're fabulous. And really, honestly, 99% of my life, I'm not that fabulous.
All right, I don't believe that.
I am secretly not that fabulous.
Secretly not that fabulous. All right, well, look, there's nothing wrong with watching Lisa Vanderpump and not putting up pictures of salads, but the pressure is every day. Now, you don't get off time.
That's right. You don't get off time, and you don't get any privacy. And I just spent a weekend in Florida with Sports Illustrated. They were, the big release of the issue, and I'm one of the oldest core girls ever. And I'm like the oldest core girl ever, but I'm just a core girl. And it was interesting how this kind of almost shocked me. We're in a room, a discotheque. It's like a fabulous party, and I mean, these girls are drop dead gorgeous. They're so beautiful that your teeth hurt. And I walk through the room, and I'm like, boogieing my way down. I'm like, woo, party. And I see table after table of these gorgeous creatures on their phones. And their beautiful little faces are lit up by the screens of their Instagrams. And I think, wow, they're not even having any fun. They're just broadcasting having fun, but they're not actually having fun. They're not actually living it. So I had a lot of fun, and I have zero to show for it. So there you go.
Well, they're never in the moment. That's the problem. They're always a spectator to their own life.
Exactly. But I have now no proof that I was there.
You have it inside. You record it in your memories, right?
That's right. Remember that. I was
Unless
there.
you were drinking too much. I don't know.
Well, it could have had something to do with it. Party.
Listen, I have a question.
Yeah.
You talked about going, from Sweden and Czechoslovakia and all these different countries and stuff. But one thing that you kind of saw all along the lines of this chronology is the feminism, the way women were treated and the things women did and what were expected of women. How did that, where are you at right now? Because I know you did the TED Talk and the New York Times article.
Yeah, well, I haven't stopped being a feminist, if that's what you mean.
I hope not.
No, I find that it was I was placed in such a unique position in my life to be able to be a woman in 4 different countries that had such completely different views on women and the treatment of women and what women mean. From like, Scandinavia, where you are the goddess of all and you rule the universe, to the Czech Republic, where you're sort of on the level of domestic animals. So it was a really interesting experience, and I felt like I had a great occasion to talk about it. Now but I've talked about it. I did a TED Talk. I did a New York op-ed piece. Now I'm really interested in talking about the one thing that I'm not hearing a whole lot about, which is becoming invisible as you age. So women, once we turn, I think it's not even 45, it's somewhere around 48 to 49, where we suddenly start getting erased. It's like literally one day you're walking down the street and people just like bump right into you like you no longer exist. It's the weirdest feeling. And that's something that I've really been thinking about, and I've been sort of trying to formulate essays about it. I haven't quite gotten it right yet. And in the middle of this is when Sports Illustrated called and said, "Hey, do you want to be in?"
Not that invisible.
Yeah, well, like it was giving me a chance to be visible at my age and not see. Here's a little thing, because I was just being interviewed by somebody who said, "Well, women in their 50s are not invisible. As like some of our biggest movie stars and biggest personalities right now are in their 50s. They're hedging 50. So how can you say that they're invisible?" It's like, yeah, you know what? That is true. You can be 50 and be absolutely visible. You just can't look your age. You just have to look 20 years younger. If you look 20 years younger, you're cool. If you look your age, what? Who? Who are you? I mean, it's almost. I was thinking about this the other day too. It's like when you look at the internet, when you look at I look for pictures of older women so that I have somebody to look to look at, like how they age and how I myself will age, because I'm still sort of persisting with the notion that I want to be me. I don't want implants. I don't want fillers. I don't want Botox. I don't want any of that. I want to just keep aging as best as I can. I'm not saying never.
Not off the table completely.
It's not off the table completely. But I would like to maintain as long as possible the real me, the one that I've worked 54 years on achieving. But when you look at the internet and you look at when you look at aging with grace, there ain't a single person that's aged with grace. They all look 20 years younger, and that's what's called aging with grace. If you actually age, well, then you're invisible. There's no pictures of you. Nobody gives a shit.
One follower, yourself.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, your mom looks amazing, so you got that going for you.
Well,
Genetics.
my mom is also very happy to admit that she's had plenty of work done, and comes a time, sometimes probably pretty soon, where I'm going to look older than she does, and so that's going to be hard then to have somebody to look up to for aging. Like my mother's going to look like my daughter, and that's going to be confusing.
It'll go from looking like sisters to then she's the daughter.
Exactly. So no, I have to look for other people.
Okay. Speaking of daughters, how's the family? How was Mother's Day?
Mother's Day was sweet. Well, I just got back from Florida. I was still hungover. But my boys were at home, and they gave me a bouquet of flowers and went, "Well, okay, that's it. Can you order dinner now?"
A very quick celebration.
Yeah, indeed. I like to think that I'm such a fabulous mother that they know they don't have to make a special point of telling me I'm a fabulous mother. They tell me on a daily basis.
So that's like the feminism thing about not having to scream, I'm a feminist.
That's right. I mean, it's like if you have to shout about it, then you're not so secure in your spot, are you?
Was there one cover that stood out for you? Was it the first one, or was there another one that passed along where you said, this is the most important cover to me or most meaningful?
You mean like a cover of a magazine?
Yep.
Actually, yeah, this is a sad story.
Here we go.
Yeah. Barbara. I was probably about 16 years old. Yeah, like 16 and a half. And I had already done like a whole bunch of covers in Europe where I was working in Paris at the time. And I was on a trip on this like first stupid catalog to Morocco. And I had gotten word from my agency that I had gotten the cover of Vogue, which to us at that time in 1981, to have the cover of Vogue was like, well, that's it. That's like the most amazing thing that can happen to a model is to have a cover of Vogue. If you're on a cover of Vogue, you are a bona fide top model. That's like, you've made it, girl. And so I was going to be on the cover of Vogue, and I was so excited. And I had to wait. Back in those days, we had to wait a long time before it was published. It was like 3-month lead time. So for 3 months, I kept living on this, like, I got a cover of Vogue. I got a cover of Vogue. When it comes out, I'm going to be a big star. I got a cover of Vogue. And then the cover of Vogue came out. And for the cover, they cropped my face like this. So all you saw was like a half of my eyeball, my nose, and my mouth. There was no way to tell it was me. And that...
What was that about?
Ask German fucking Vogue. I don't know. But yeah, they...
Those Germans.
That was very... Like, that disappointment of that taught me a very valuable lesson. Do not... Do not... sell the chickens from
count your chickens.
Yeah, whatever that saying is. It taught me that. I can't formulate it, but I logically understand.
You lived it.
I lived it. That's right. So that got me used to disappointment real quick.
Are you ever going to go back to acting? Because you've done some phenomenal acting. You just did a very little amount, and I don't know why. I saw it and I said, she's got talent.
Yeah, I mean, the last like big movie that I did was one of my favorites. Was called Knots, and that was like already like 7 years ago or something. I did a little movie last year, which was just a short film about a little girl whose best friend is an alien, and I play her mom. And that was really fun to just kind of dip my toes back in the water. But the fact is, yeah, sure, I would love to do more acting. It's just nobody asks me. And I can go and offer. Like, hey, would you like me? And they can go no, and then that's that.
Well, I don't think they'll go no, but that is ridiculous.
There are not that many great parts for 54-year-old women, and if there is a great part for a woman my age, they're not gonna hire me. There's Michelle Pfeiffer. There's like all these amazing actresses that would like that job. Not me. So I'm in the category of now writing. I'm a writer. I'm a writer, and I can write. I'm actually working on writing a TV. It's not a sitcom. A TV. Yeah, the TV pilot is written. A TV series. A TV series. And so I'm just going to write my own projects. It's kind of like a historical / sci-fi piece about an opera house. Yeah.
You're deep.
Yeah. You mean you haven't?
I rock and I'm deep. Yeah.
Paulina rocks. You barely need to ask me anything because I am so freaking talkative. I'll just tell you without you even asking.
This mic's not even on. Go ahead.
No, that would be like my German Vogue cover. Thanks. Photoshop is what...
High def filters, all that stuff.
Actually, it's Photoshop that has completely changed the modeling industry because pre-Photoshop, retouching was extremely costly. It was only done for a cover if you had like a red eyeball or a pimple or something. Otherwise, models had to look pretty much perfect. Like we had to look the way that it was in a magazine because there was no way to cover it. And so makeup was an artistry. Not only did you have to make the girl look beautiful, but you had to fix any issues so that the photograph wouldn't capture it. 35 years ago, makeup was definitely a lot heavier. There was a lot more base and a lot more powder because things had to be covered. And also that's why models were all, in their teens and early 20s. Once you got to 25, that heavy makeup would settle in and make you look not so fresh. So a model was really extremely limited. She was limited by how her skin looked that day and how old she was and how good her skin was. I actually had a girlfriend who was a beautiful model, but who kept having periodic flares up of acne. And what happened to her? Well, she got sent home every time she had acne. She just got sent home for 2 months or 3 months to take a course of antibiotics and then come back and then have the whole process start again. Now, obviously, Photoshop, anybody can be a model. Like literally, you can just, you can trim, you can slim, you can airbrush, you can do all of that. So the way you actually look is not as important anymore for photos. However, on film, it has gotten exactly the opposite, because now we have high definition, and on high definition, you see everything. And so for high definition, I think that's also why fillers and Botox have become such an incredibly popular thing to use, because when you see yourself in high definition, you see everything. And most people are not comfortable seeing that much reality. I actually had it's funny, a photographer. I was having dinner one night with a bunch of models and a photographer from the old days who knows us all. And I was listening to him talk, and I was like, making my interested face. And is
that what you're doing now? Now we've, okay.
But see, you can tell, because I haven't had any Botox. You can tell. So I'm making my...
Good save, Paulina.
So I'm making my interested face, and he looks at me, he goes, "Oh, stop doing that." And I'm looking at him going, stop doing what? And he goes, "Well, that weird thing with your forehead." And I go, "Frown? You mean stop frowning?" Yeah, he meant stop frowning. He wasn't used to a 48-year-old woman frowning. So that's, I guess, thanks to HDTV, that's where we're heading next now. It's like, if you're on TV, you're not actually allowed to have expressions. And if you're a model, you can actually look like anything, because everything will be fixed. It's like a really strange dichotomy. I haven't even given that much thought until you just asked me that. So now I'm going to think about it a lot.
Okay. You could write about it, another paper, another story.
That's it. It probably requires another essay. Mm-hmm.
When you were very young, like Paulina Extra Junior Paulina, did you ever think that this was going to happen? The whole life that you've had, this craziness?
Oh, God. I started modeling when I was 15. And when I was 14 and a half, I went to school one day, and I had 3 girls nudge me, not so gently, into a bathroom, stick my head in the toilet, flush, and told me that I looked like a hooker and somebody needed to wash my face. So no, I really couldn't imagine myself at that point to be sitting in New York and having made money on the way I look. That was a freaking ridiculous notion, actually.
Wow. Where was that girl that punched the guy in the face for you? You needed her, remember?
Oh, little Malin, yes. Well, at that point, she was probably out smoking cigarettes with the boys. So can't always have your protectors around.
Okay. When people say Paulina Porizkova, what do you want them to think of?
God, it's kind of like saying, like, what do you want on your tombstone? This requires a really witty, like, brilliant answer.
Deep Oscar Wilde thought?
Yeah, deep Oscar Wilde. What do you want for people to think of?
What do you think people think of you now when they hear that name?
Isn't
world's
she
first supermodel?
No, and they're like, isn't she some model from the 80s? That's, I think, what most people think.
People think first supermodel, the biggest one there was. I'm telling you that,
you know what? Let's go with that. Let's just put that out there. Paulina Porizkova, the biggest supermodel there ever was. Because if we say it enough, people might believe it.
In this day and age, you could say anything and people believe it.
Exactly. Like, just look at our political system. I'm going to stick by it.
Oh, my God. We can't even go into that.
No, let's not even go into that.
I'll just drop the mic.
But if you say it, it might be true. The biggest supermodel there ever was. Also, the smartest supermodel there ever was.
That's without a doubt. I mean, come on.
And then now we got to put it out there, like it's.
We're adding that.
Yeah,
that's in addition to.
Yeah, it's the biggest and smartest. Oh, and no, okay, now I'm
really
going.
Adding on there.
I'm going overboard.
All right, well, look, everybody, she's not invisible. She rocks. And guys, for next Mother's Day, a little bit more. I know you kind of say it with your eyes, but say it with some presence.
Thank you.
What's your social media? Because I know you do the Instagram and all that stuff.
I do the Instagram. Yeah.
What's your name?
It's my full name, Paulina Porizkova, and it ends at the V because apparently I couldn't fit the A in.
Oh, that's why I thought I was right. Okay.
I don't know. It's like apparently my name is just one vowel too long. Figure that one out.
She's very special, as you noticed over the course of this interview. Everybody, go check her out, follow her stuff.
Here is to a next 50 years of being visible as a 50-year-old and a 60-year-old and 70-year-old and 80 and then a good-looking corpse. I don't know.
We'll get rid of that part. All right, we are out. Chance TV, Paulina Porizkova.
Yeah.